Recording. Okay. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this Is It Crap? And I might be changing that soon because I certainly don't think it's crap. Now, whether or not they're execute is one thing. Or is it gold webinar? We're going to talk about THW Global tonight. Now, Tuesday night is our presentation night. So if you are a guest, you have not yet registered with THW Global, this webinar is for you. If you are have registered with THW Global, but you don't really know what it's all about, this webinar is for you. If you registered with THW Global and you are one of our old heads, you've been here for 2.5 weeks, because I don't think any of us have been here longer than June 16th is when I registered, then this webinar is still for you, okay? All right, so is it crap or is it gold? Now, what we're going to do, we're going to share with you THW Global from our perspective why we believe that if she performs, she's in what we call a soft launch right now. So once she fully launches and once everything gets really going, if she performs, she's going to answer two huge problems. All right, she's going to be a huge answer to two very big problems that individuals face and that large corporations face. And that's why we're so excited about THW Global, assuming that she is gold. Now, one thing that I'm also going to do towards the end of the webinar is I want to go over some recent communications from THW Global, particularly from yesterday, July the 4th, so you can also get our perspective, okay? Real quickly, we've been in the industry 20 plus years. We struggled like most people. We finally hit our stride in the early 2000s. We've built now 5 7-figure businesses. We've been a part owner of a network marketing company. Unfortunately, didn't quite make it, but we learned a lot. And that gives us a slightly different perspective. We're no better, Todd, than anybody else. We just have a different perspective, and we want to bring that perspective to you as we talk about THW Global. Okay, now last week when we had this webinar, a week ago, this was the number of folks that had registered as of right prior to the webinar, okay? 277,215 folks across the globe had registered. So what happened, it'll be 3 weeks this coming Thursday. Something comes across my desk. Something hits my email box like it always hits your email box. And there's always a new system, a new something, a shiny object that's coming out. There's always something launching. And in many cases, you know, I just delete. But this particular correspondence came from someone that I highly respect, that I've been on his list for quite some time, on his email list. And he's helped me make a lot of money. He introduced me to a business a few years ago, and that became our biggest income producer to date. So anytime he shares something with me, I'll at least listen, all right? I'm a part of his list. I'm a part of his responsive list. I'll at least check things out. And so this thing comes across my desk, and it's talking about advertising, and it's talking about people earning up to $25 an hour, up to $1,000 a month, so up to $25 an hour for 10 hours of work, as it were, on a weekly basis, $250 up to $250 a week, up to $1,000 a month. And I'm saying, well, you know, okay, whatever, all right. I go to the site. I'm not impressed by the site. You know, the site's, you know, the plain Jane site. And but it was free. It was free. Oh, okay, well, I'll go on and register for free. Then I started reading the contents, and I said, oh, my gosh, if these guys can do, if these guyettes can do what they say they're going to do, this could really be something. Well, in just a week's time, from last Tuesday to today, I just pulled this up a couple minutes before we got started here. We see now the registrations to date is now at 515,000 registrants, and averaging about 1,500, or a little more than 1,500 an hour. New people registering for THW Global. 21,000 have registered today. We saw yesterday in our business, we saw just on one, we'll talk about the compensation down the road in this webinar, but we saw on just one level of our compensation, we've got a 10-level structure, 1,222 new registrants on just one level. I don't know what the heck. My gosh, this thing is going absolutely ballistic. But now here's what we want to do tonight. We want to bring you value, okay? Because there's a lot of people that are registering for THW Global, and they really don't know what they're registering for. And for a lot of people, it's just another thing in a long line of things that they are registering for. And since it's no money out of pocket, since it's free to register, there's going to be a lot of people, unfortunately, that are going to miss the boat. If she's gold, they're going to miss the boat because it's one of those free thingies. So I want us to take our time, Sung, tonight and really make sure that you understand, Sanya, just what we may have our hands on. Now, the first thing we need to understand is that we've got some major global economic challenges. The rift or the gulf between the haves and the have-nots are increasing, ever increasing. So you've got these major global economic challenges, but on one hand, and then on the other hand, you have more billionaires with a B being produced than at any point in history. So again, you've got this huge gulf, this huge distancing of wealth creation. All right, so now I want to talk about some things that's happening in the U.S., although I'm fully aware that the majority of people that have registered for THW Global are not U.S. citizens or U.S. residents. The overwhelming majority are outside of the U.S. And I'm also aware that we've got a large number of you that are on the webinar that are not in the U.S. But the reason I want to talk a little bit about the U.S. is because if the U.S., which is considered to be the wealthiest country in the nation and the biggest economy, although China is trying to track it down, but China's having its own economic difficulties, if these challenges are happening in the U.S., then you can just imagine that we may be seeing these challenges across the globe. Okay, so in the U.S., there's something called welfare. Not all countries have this. Welfare is basically where the government pitches in to kind of help people get along the way, okay? Welfare is not something that people that are on it are proud about. As a matter of fact, a lot of people that are on it, they don't want anybody to know, all right, that they need some government assistance. So it says this in this article on May 30th, 2016. It said, who's on welfare? And it talks about 9 shocking stats about public assistance. We won't go through all 9, but I want to just show you, highlight that there's some real challenges that average, ordinary, everyday people are having in as it relates to the economy. Now, this talked about $152 billion being spent on food stamps. Food stamps is where basically the government is subsidizing so that people can buy food, all right? Health insurance, cash assistance programs, so on and so forth. But here's the key. Look at this right here. Hopefully you can see my cursor. Half of welfare, when you think of welfare, you might be thinking of the guy on the street with a "Will Work for Food" sign. Can he work? Can he not work? Is he lazy? Is it whatever? Okay. Half of the welfare is going to working families who are having trouble making ends meet. Here are people that are working jobs. They have jobs, but it's not enough. And they need government assistance to help them along. They have jobs. They're not deadbeats. They're trying to make it, but they're struggling. And so then you've got the college graduates. The college graduates, okay? You go to school, you get a good education. In the U.S., it could be, tens of thousands, maybe depending on where you go, even $100,000 or more just for a 4-year degree. Many of these college students are graduating, and it says, why can't college graduates find jobs? And this article talks about 7% of college graduates are unemployed and 15% are underemployed, meaning they have a job, but they're not in the field, or they're making a lot less than what they should be making with their credentials. So 22% of college graduates either can't find work or the work they have found is subpar, and many of these college students have amassed tens of thousands of dollars in debt. Is there a problem? Is there a problem? By the way, for you marketers out there, one of the things you want to always share with your audience is the problem. How does your product or service solve a major problem? How does that solve a major problem? We're going to see how THW Global, assuming she's gold, how she's going to solve a major problem. So we've talked about our young folks. We've talked about families that are struggling. And if this is happening in the U.S., what's happening in the Dominican Republic? If this is happening in the U.S., what's happening in the Philippines? If this is happening in the U.S., what's happening in Malaysia? Now, let's look at our senior statesmen and stateswomen. Many boomers, baby boomers. This is the largest segment of the U.S. population. The baby boomers, 76 million people born between 1946 and 1964. It's saying they can't afford to retire. It goes on to say that older workers, those 65 and up, are staying in the workforce at higher percentages than previous recent generations that hit retirement age. Labor force participation of older workers is at a 25-year high. Half of Americans 50 years and over don't have more than $25,000 set aside for retirement. The Great Recession, 2008, 2009, what we experienced in the U.S. over the past few years, which was a ripple effect that caused economies across the world. Iceland was once one of the most wealthiest countries when it looked at individual gross domestic product, GDP. Iceland basically went bankrupt, the whole country. There were several other countries that basically, the countries went bankrupt. And so here you see, in what's supposed to be the wealthiest land in the world, 44%, nearly half, are now planning to work part-time after they reach retirement age. 1/3 are delaying the age at which they expect to retire. All right, so there's problems, ladies and gentlemen, and I'm not even talking about the problems that are in the home business arena. 95% of people trying to make money from home using the internet in marketing, network marketing, or affiliate marketing, or e-commerce, 95% of folks are struggling, not making any money. Losing money. 95%. There are some problems. So even though this came across my desk and I wasn't very impressed with the website, I started reading through this information about what they were looking to accomplish, and I started looking at problems that plague the globe. And if THW Global is gold, my gosh, we're going to be able to help a whole lot of people, not just marketers. Last week we said that this opportunity transcends network marketing. You'll see what I'm talking about in just a few moments. Okay, so now, THW Global is in the advertising space. Give me just a moment. Let me get a little water. My gosh, I just looked over, Queen, at those numbers. Oh my gosh. Great to have each and every one of you. Gosh. Okay, sorry, I had a little tickle. All right, so THW Global is in the advertising space. We get this question a lot. How on earth can they afford to pay up to $25 an hour, up to $250 a week, up to $1,000 a month for people watching advertising content? That's essentially what their proposal is to us. Hey, you can join for free. You watch promotional content, up to 10 hours a week of promotional content. We, being THW Global, will pay you up to $25 an hour. If you watch 10 hours a week, that's up to $250 a week. If you watch 10 hours a week times 4 weeks out of a month, that's up to $1,000. How, Tracy, can they afford to do that? This has got to be crap. This has got to be a scam. There's no way they can do that. Well, wait. Before we rush to any judgment, is it a crap or is it gold? Why don't we just do a little digging? All right, so let's take a look at YouTube. Let's take a look at YouTube. Is YouTube just a place for you and I to go and watch videos? Or is YouTube a very potent advertising platform? See, what YouTube did is they said, hey, you can register an account for how much? Free. Come in here and watch content. And we watch content and we share the video, we talk about the video, and we tell other people about the video. And then all of a sudden, more and more people started registering with YouTube, and they got more and more users. And now that they got this massive user base, what happens when you go to watch a video? You've got an ad. You've got to watch for maybe 30 seconds before you watch the video, or 15 seconds before you watch the video. Over to the right-hand side, what do you have? You've got ads. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that has made YouTube a $70 billion giant. It's owned by Google, but if YouTube were to step outside and be its own company, it would be worth $70 billion. Only 66 other companies in the S&P 500 would be bigger than YouTube. Now, what did YouTube do? Free account, say it with me, THW Global, free account. And people come to watch content. Now, YouTube, Google, who owns YouTube, they generate billions of dollars in revenue a year from the advertising. But what YouTube does not do, what Google does not do, is it doesn't pay you. By the way, did you just hear that hip-hopness? Did you hear it? What Google does not do, it does not pay you. Oh my gosh, that boy is talented. I'm gonna walk around with my pants hanging down, Queen, because I'm talented. I'm a hip hop. All right, let's talk about Twitter. It's another one, another free model. Doesn't cost anything to get a Twitter account, right? And we thought that people were just setting up Twitter accounts so they could tweet 140 characters about what's going on, or tweet about the basketball game, or tweet about the football game, or tweet about whatever they're tweeting about. And what we didn't realize is that what they were doing is they were building a massive base so that they could serve what? Advertisements. Now, Twitter made $641 million in the fourth quarter of 2015. That's up 48% from the previous year. And a large part of that is now coming through mobile. So now we're seeing companies pouring millions, billions of dollars into advertising. And now the 800-pound gorilla, can THW Global, how can they afford to pay you up to $25 an hour, up to $250 a week, up to $1,000 a month for all you're doing is viewing ads, they say. Well, my gosh, look at what big business is willing to spend for advertising. $5.2 billion with the B dollars. We thought Facebook was about, hey, let me get an account so I can connect with some old high school friends of mine and some old college friends of mine, and I can tell you that I'm on a vacation and you tell me you're on a vacation, and we can say happy birthday to each other, and we can console each other when somebody loses a loved one. And that's what we thought Facebook was about. That's not what Facebook is about. Facebook is about an advertising platform. 1.6 billion users across the globe. A large percentage of those go into their Facebook accounts on a daily basis. And what do they see on a daily basis? On the right-hand side, they see ads as they go through their news feed. Oh, my buddy from high school, he posted something, and it's in my news feed. And right underneath that, there's a sponsored post. That's an ad. They did $5.2 billion in advertising. That was up from $3.3 billion from the previous year's first quarter. Ladies and gentlemen, advertising is big business. Nobody in our industry, our work and home industry, has really capitalized on the larger advertising movement. There have been companies that had an advertising model where basically we marketers were marketing to each other, promoting you were promoting your deal to me and I was promoting my deal to you in an ad platform. We're not talking about that. We're talking about big business, ladies and gentlemen. We're talking big business spending millions, hundreds of millions, billions of dollars in advertising. Now, it's not just social media. Take a look at Google. All right, Google, another huge giant. Here is the model. Free. You open up your Gmail account for what? Free. What does it cost you to go and to Google something? Doesn't cost you anything, but when you Google something, maybe you're Googling insurance or loans or mortgage, guess what? When you see those ads and somebody clicks on one of those ads, that is an advertiser that is spending money just to be in front of traffic, and they are paying per click. They have no guarantee that the person that clicks on that ad is going to buy the insurance policy or get the loan or get the mortgage or hire them as the attorney. Yet Google makes up to $50 for a click. So when somebody says that's a scam, $25 just for you to watch ads, and I'm saying, wait a minute, so you hadn't done your research. Because Google can make up to $50 for a click. Not for watching a 1-minute ad, for a click. There for insurance keywords, $54.91. Google has made that as much as that for a click. For loan keywords, as much as $44 for a what? Say it with me. I want to hear you through the webinar, though you're muted out. For a and make sure that your voice rises when you say it. Okay, all right, it's got to go up. For a what? Click. I'm having fun. I'm having fun. Mortgage keywords, attorney keywords. My point is, ladies and gentlemen, advertising is all around us. You turn on the radio, you've got advertising. You watch TV, you've got advertising. You go online, you've got advertising. You play a game on your phone. What do you have? Advertising. Now, TV advertising, $78 billion just in the U.S. market alone in TV advertising. But there's a challenge. There's a challenge with what's happening in the TV ad market that creates a huge opportunity if THW Global is gold. So somebody wants to do a commercial. It might cost them $200 to $1,500 to create the commercial. They haven't run it yet. They just created it. And that's in like a little local market. If somebody wants to do a national advertising campaign, they might pay as much as $342,000 just to have the commercial produced. This isn't the advertising. This is just to have the commercial produced. Now, to actually advertise on something like the Super Bowl, and this is dated. This is going back to 2011. A 30-second spot in the Super Bowl was $3.5 million. A 30-second spot on something like American Idol that just had their last season was like $475,000 for a 30-second commercial. Now get this. How much demographic data do they have when they're doing that commercial? So when that commercial comes out and it's selling doodads, whatever the doodad happens to be, I may or may not be interested in those doodads. When that commercial comes on, I might go and get refresh my beverage. When that commercial comes on, I might go and see, do whatever. All right, take the dog for a walk or what have you. But companies are still spending as much as $475,000 for what? A 30-second commercial. So would companies potentially spend money to have a targeted, captive audience that's excited to watch commercials and movie trailers and participate in video surveys and things of that nature? You think maybe? So those folks is out there on YouTube who's just saying, it's a scam, it's a scam, it's a scam. Well, what if it's not? It hadn't cost you anything. Nobody's paid the first cent. So why don't we just see what's going to happen before we embrace scam or get scared away from folks talking about scam? The point is there are billions and billions and billions of dollars in advertising, and it's going on all around us. But now here's a problem that big business is having. Netflix came out and other on-demand services, and they're starting to kill the TV ad golden goose. You see, I even think it started before Netflix. I remember when the DVRs came out where you could actually record live TV. I love my U.S.-based NFL football. And for the rest of the folks around the world who says that's not really football, okay, whatever. All right, I love the ones with the helmets and the pads and people getting hit. Okay, that's the one I love. Now, when I got my first DVR, I know what I can do because I don't want to watch those commercials. I'll record my live game. I'll let it play for an hour. And then after an hour, I'll go and I'll pick it up from the initial start of the game. So I can do what? Fast forward through the commercials. Now, I have Netflix and I have Hulu Plus. And guess what? I like Netflix and Hulu Plus because I don't have to watch the commercials. So what's happening is, while audiences are watching more television than ever, they're watching less of it live, causing ad revenue to shrink. So what companies are challenged with is, how do I get my advertisement? How do I get my promotional offer in the faces of people that want to view this content? And that, ladies and gentlemen, is where THW Global comes to play. See, if you want to make money in the home business industry, what you do is you identify with your target market, you identify what are the problems, what are the struggles, and then you bring the healing and the ointment and the salve to those pains and struggles to alleviate and eliminate the pain and struggles. You'll never have to sell anything if you can identify the pain points that people have and bring the solution. So what THW is doing, assuming that they can fulfill on their promises, is they will answer two major pain points. Pains that big business is having, getting their content in front of a captive audience, and that audience, they're able to target market because of what the interest of that market happens to be. Number one. Number two, actually I should say number two. Number one is providing a platform so that people all across the globe, whether they're marketers or not marketers, whether they're have an email list or don't have an email list, whether they do live webinars like I'm doing now, or whether they never do a live webinar, whether they cut YouTube videos or whether they never learn how to cut a YouTube video, where they can make a good part-time income. For some people, it'll be a little bit more than part-time depending on what part of the world they live in, so that they can better their lives. All right, so here we go. Up to $25 an hour watching better than YouTube type videos. And it says at the time you had to be 21. They've lowered that now down to 18. Somebody remind me when we get to an optional Q&A for me to talk about why lowering it down to 18 is a really, really, really big deal. I mean, like a huge gargantuan deal. So someone please make sure you remind me when we get to optional Q&A. All right, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to invest up to 10 hours a week to comment on commercials, TV pilots, movie trailers, video surveys, and so much more. Okay? Now, that's a way that we can start to generate some revenues. Now, what I want to do is I want to walk you through how we're going to make money, because there is so much money on the table. I won't have time to do this tonight because there's some other things I want to do, but ultimately I want to share with you how we could take this free business model and scale it up to a 6 figures would be $100,000 a year or more. A 7-figure income would be $1 million a year or more. And if you mess with us, I believe if they perform, we could have 8-figure producers. And why not? When you've got marginal NBA basketball players now signing $100 million contracts, $25 million a year, and they're marginal at best. By the way, for those of you that are NBA basketball fans and you're hearing about these huge dollars that are being paid out to these marginal players, only a few of them are really good. Where's that money coming from? Let me tell you where it's coming from. It's because the NBA just signed some long-term deals with some networks like TNT and ESPN. And where does ESPN derive its money from? Where does TNT derive its money from? Say it with me. Advertising. It's all around us, ladies and gentlemen. And for the first time, you and I, average dudette get a chance to tap into a $650 billion industry. Okay, so let's talk about 3 ways we can make money. Number 1, you watch promotional content. If you want to scale to a 6 or 7-figure business, you're going to make an absolute outright commitment of watching the maximum amount of content that you can watch 10 hours a week. Now, that's going to allow you to max out the compensation from your viewing income. And depending on what part of the world you're in, you could make as much as $25 an hour. In other parts of the world that maybe the wages aren't as high, you're likely not going to make $25 an hour. That's why the up to there, it could be less than that. Someone, again, when we get to questions and answers, I don't have time to do it now. When we get to questions and answers, remind me to talk about why in the Philippines it probably wouldn't be $25 an hour and why that makes sense. Remind me to bring that up because I want people to get that, why that up to $25 an hour is there. Now, what I'm going to do, however, just for nice simplicity, is I'm going to use the $25 figure. You know that it may not be $25 per hour for everybody across the globe, depending on what part of the world they live in. I'm going to use the $25 figure for nice, simplistic illustrations. All right, so that's the first way that you get paid. Okay. The second way that you get paid is you get an override. When you refer someone that also registers for how much? Free. And they now watch content for every hour worth of content they watch, you earn up to, depending on what part of the world they're in, you earn up to $5 an hour. So think this through. You refer Tom Owen. Tom watches 10 hours worth of promotional content this week. You get $5 in our example times the 10 hours that Tom watched. That's $50 a week that you would earn potentially for one referral. What if you had 10 of those? What if you have 100 of those? What if you have, like my buddy Tyron? What are you at now, buddy? I think I saw 374 earlier today. My gosh, you recruiting beast, you. All right. What if you, and see, if you follow what we teach, my gosh, if you follow what we teach, there's no reason why every single one of you in time should not have personally enrolled 100 people committed to 10 hours a week. That's our game plan, to get you to have 100 referrals committed to 10 hours a week. Because in doing that, that alone is a 6-figure income, ladies and gentlemen, because every personal referral of yours could be worth $200 a month to you. If you have 100 of those, that could be worth $20,000 a month. And why not? Why not? When Mark Zuckerberg of Facebook is worth $48 billion because of advertising. Because we went on Facebook and we wanted to connect with our friends and our family. And all the while, they were building an advertising platform all around us, but they just don't pay us anything. And we willingly and we excitedly go to our Facebook pages. We excitedly go to our YouTube channels. We excitedly log into Twitter. Queen Twitter's got 1 million folks following her on Twitter. But how much is Twitter paying her? How much is YouTube paying you? How much is Instagram paying you, ladies and gentlemen? All right, so every person you personally refer, and you say, well, I can't recruit, I can't sponsor, nobody wants to hear from me. If you follow what we teach, and every single one of you, there's no reason why you shouldn't be able to scale a business. I'll give you just a little piece of that tonight. We'll come back on Thursday and delve more into it because Thursday night is our training night. Now, that's your personal referrals. The biggest money is going to be, Virginia, as you build out an entire referral network. See, let me tell you what's going to happen for those that really want to follow what we teach, that want to take 10 hours and turn it into 6 or 7 figures. Okay? If all you want is a couple $100 here, $500 there, maybe $1,000, fantastic. You can have that. But if you want a complete lifestyle change because you have dreams that are unfulfilled and it's going to take some money for you to have the financial freedom and the time freedom for you to hotly pursue the passions of your heart. So if you want a six-figure income, if a marginal basketball player averaging 11 points and 5 rebounds can sign a $25 million a year contract, if a drunkie quarterback out of Texas A&M who doesn't appreciate what he was given can go out and sign for tens of millions of dollars, and now he's not even in the league. If that can happen for them, why shouldn't it happen for you? Why shouldn't you generate 6 figures and 7 figures and maybe even 8 figures a month and a year with this system if it's gold? Check this out. You refer Terry. Terry refers Steph. Steph does viewing. Steph earns up to $25 an hour. Terry, Steph's referrer, earns up to $5 an hour. You earn up to $1 an hour. In your 10-level organization, you refer 1, 1 refers 2, 2 refers 3, 3 refers 4, 4 refers 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. In your 10-level organization, everybody in your 10-level organization, when they view an hour, you earn up to $1 per hour. So when we already have teammates that have teams of hundreds and thousands, when we have just on one level 1,222 people joining in a 24-hour period, when we have teammates that have personally enrolled, like Carol has personally enrolled over 100 folks already. When we have, I forget, what's his name? I talked about him in our video this morning. Guy, I don't know when he joined us. All of a sudden, I just see all this activity and just this beautiful organization that he's building. Hundreds of people already on his organization. He's only been here, I think, for a few short days. Now, when these people start viewing, what if somebody on your 9th level, far removed from you don't know them, they don't know you, they view 10 hours a week. You just made $10 a week. They view 40 hours a month. You just made $40 a month, assuming it's the up to $1 per hour there. So, ladies and gentlemen, this could be gargantuan. Let me show you this real quickly. Bear with me. Now, this is dated. This is old. I know this number is now more than double. Maybe it's triple by now. In just 2 weeks, there was a group that referred collectively 51,000 registrants. 51,000. Now think this through. Will everybody watch 10 hours worth of content? No. If they follow us, the expectation is to get 10 so that we will have a higher viewership probably than any team out there. Okay? And even if you're not on our team, if you follow us and your folks follow us, then you're going to have higher viewership. Because people aren't just going to join not knowing what the heck they just joined. They're going to understand it as they undertake it. They're going to want to view their 10 hours, because I'm going to show you what we're going to do with that 10 hours in a few moments, so that they can build a long-term sustainable business. Now, if 51,000 folks, collectively, some view 10 hours, some view 5, some view 2 a week, some view none. If they just average 1 hour a week between these 51,000 folks, that could be $51,000 a month. And this happened just in 2 short weeks. This happened with people asking, is it crap? And I've been leading that charge, right? Is it crap? Is it crap? Is it crap? Or is it gold? This is with people saying it's scam city. This is without anybody making the first dollar yet. What happens if they are gold? What happens if people do make the first dollar? What happens when that happens, ladies and gentlemen? Now what happens to this number? See, THW Global has been very upfront that in order for them to reach their goal, they have to have tens of millions of international viewers, IVs, all across the globe. For them to be able to get 1/650th of the current advertising pie, it's a $650 billion pie. For them to get $1 billion in ad revenue, they've got to have a whole bunch of folks all across the globe willing to view this content. For them to get 1%, which is their goal by 2017 or 2020, I forget which one, 1% of the global advertising pie, that would be $8 billion a year in revenue. They've got to have tens upon tens of millions. And why not? Facebook's got 1.6 billion. Why not? Why not? Facebook started with something that was free. They've never paid you and me a dime, and they have 1.6 billion users. Why not us? Why not us? You've got people like Mark Zuckerberg. He's not paying us. I'm not foo-fooing on him, by the way. It's worth $48.7 billion because of what? Advertising. You've got people, number 11 on the Forbes 400 list. Can't even pronounce the name. $34.1 billion. He's the co-founder, director of special projects with Google. Okay, what I want to do real quickly is I want to just share with you, this will be quick, I want to share with you what we refer to as our 10-hour pledge. This is for those of you that want to scale to a 6 or a 7-figure business. My gosh, I just looked at our numbers again. Wow, huge numbers. If you want to scale, let's assume that THW is gold. If you want to scale to a 6-figure, a 7-figure, I'll even say 8, yes, I said it, figure business. If that's you, in your questions box, put a Y for yes. I want a 6-figure or 7-figure or 8-figure income. If that's you, put a Y. Let the Y's come. The Y's are coming. The Y's are coming. The yeses are coming. Okay. Okay. Fantastic. Let me show you the game plan to help you scale to that. All right? Bear with me. I refer to this as our 10-hour pledge. Tenet number 1 of the 10-hour pledge. You covenant to maximize your viewing income. 10 hours a week. You watch 10 hours a week. You make sure the week does not go out without you completing your 10 hours a week, because it does a number of things. Number 1, it maximizes your viewing income. That viewing income is going to be a seed that we're going to use to build our enterprises. Most people that struggle in marketing struggle. It's a number of reasons, but one of the reasons is they don't have the resources, they don't have the tools to be able to build a list. It's so important that you build a list, an email list. It's so important you build an SMS text list. We'll be talking to our audience a little bit more about that, as we were, even before THW Global, we were in the throes of releasing a mobile marketing platform. We'll talk more about that once our programmers give us the heads up that they're ready to release that. All right, so here's a big reason that most marketers fail. They don't have a list that they own and control. And let me tell you why this is so important. So when THW Global comes across my desk, it'll be 3 weeks on this coming Thursday. I read over the content. I said, man, if these guys do what they say they're going to do, if these guyettes do what they say they're going to do, this could be something. I immediately put together a quick email, sent it out to what? My email list. There's a gentleman in my email list. We've done business before in the past, and we've done some things that we both were excited about that turned out to be crap. All right, we've done some things that have been gold. In any event, this particular gentleman emails me back and says, hey, I saw this. I was going to try it out, see if these guys would perform. Hey, send me your link. See, he's been in my email list, number 1. Number 2, I've provided value to that list. So now when I had a promotional message, he was responsive to my message. Now, it wasn't just him. It's been a whole lot of folks. All right. We've personally enrolled over a couple hundred folks right now. I got to catch up with my buddy, Tyron. He might be at 400 now. So just know, Tyron, I'm a very competitive guy. You get to 400 and 500, and you wait until we start doing some paid advertising. Then let's see how this all works out. Because I've got you in my sights. I just want you to know that. Okay. All right. So we had a couple hundred folks that joined with us. So it wasn't just him. But here's the thing. This dude joins me, and in 24 hours, he personally enrolls 192 folks. He now is closing in, if he hasn't already done so, 400 personal enrollees. And now he's got people like Carol Rivet that I believe he personally enrolled or is in his team. She's personally enrolled 100 folks. And people like Terry, is it Burns? Terry, who's enrolled something like a couple hundred folks. And then as I scroll through his organization, I mean, he's just got loads and loads and loads. But he doesn't join me if he's not in my list. He would have joined. He'd have joined somebody else. And he's responsible, he and his leadership team, for thousands of folks in our organization. If those thousands of folks just watch 1 hour a week, that's thousands of dollars to my bottom line. Why? Because I had him in my what? List. One of the challenges that people have in building a list is they ain't got no money to build a list. Well, now you're going to covenant, number one, to maximize your viewing income so that, number two, you can take no less than 50%, as much as 100% of your viewing income, and commit that as a seed to marketing. Get the tools. Get the resources. We'll be recommending the tools and resources that we use. There'll be other folks who'll say, hey, here's another tool that maybe you're not using. Oh, okay, fantastic. And by the way, many of those tools and resources have their own affiliate natures, which will allow you to generate additional revenue. So when someone gets an autoresponder at our recommendation, but they get the autoresponder from you, you make money. Or if someone gets a lead capture page system at our recommendation, but they get it from you, you make money. See, if you will follow us, ladies and gentlemen, you're not just going to make money in THW Global. Let's assume that she's gold. You're going to make multiple streams of income. Our game plan is to have you making multiple streams of income across multiple niches and really becoming a professional marketer. A professional marketer. Hey, professional marketers, by the way, don't go on other people's YouTube channels and spam with their link saying, join me. You don't do that. You won't do that. You're going to learn how to market like a professional so you can attract professional marketers. So now you've got to have the tools and resources. But now, how do you get people coming to you? How do you get people joining you? How do you get traffic to your site? You don't want just free traffic. You can't depend on free traffic. Yes, I do a lot of YouTube and I get traffic from YouTube. I get signups from YouTube. I make sales from YouTube, but I can't depend on that. I can't say, okay, I want 1,000 visits to my site today. Let me post this YouTube video. I don't know that I'm going to get 1,000. I might get 1,000 views to the video. That doesn't necessarily translate to 1,000 visits to my site or 2,000 visits to my site. So one of the things we're going to do is we're going to take from that seed and we're going to invest in paid marketing. Paid marketing. Get 1,000 visitors coming to your site. And when you start to understand the numbers behind that typically our target is, if I get 1,000 visitors, I want 250 of them to opt in with a good email, with their email address. And if I get 250 or 25% to opt in, I'm going to probably close 1 to 5%. With this offer, given that it's free, it'll probably be closer to the 5%. If I close 4% of the folks that opt into my system with THW Global, if I have 1,000 visits, I get 250 to opt in, 4% I close. That's 10 people that join hearing this message. Not just, hey, earn up to $25 an hour. No, hearing this message of committing to 10 hours a week. This is the message I want people to hear. This is the message my folks are going to hear 10 hours a week, 10 hours a week, 10 hours a week, 10 hours a week. Why? Because for every person that personally enrolled by you that does 10 hours a week, 10 hours a week, 10 hours a week, you could make up to $200 a month. You got 100 of those, you're making 20 grand a month. You get some of those who generate their own referral groups. Now you start to build out your 10 levels. Now all of a sudden you're making high six, maybe 7 figures. And if you mess with Tyron, you might be at 8. So we're going to use the viewing income as a seed. Don't eat your seed. Now, I know some of you may need some of that income to pay some bills, to catch up on some stuff, to relieve some pressure, to go out on a date with your spouse. I get that. I understand that. Do something nice for the kids. I get that. I understand that. That's why I said a minimum 50% to as much as 100%, so that you will have a monthly advertising budget. A monthly advertising budget. Then the third thing that I haven't listed here is that as your referral income grows. So right now we're only talking about committing your viewing income, 50% to 100% of that. As your referral income grows, we're going to commit no less than 25% of that to marketing. Most of that would be advertising. So now all of a sudden you're making your $1,000, let's say a month, from your own viewing. And let's say that you're committing $1,000 a month to marketing. Now you're making $5,000 from your referral network. From that $5,000, we're saying take 25% of that and add that to your advertising budget. You put $3,750 in your pocket. You got $1,250 now going to advertising. Now you got a marketing budget of $2,250 a month. And then all of a sudden now you're making $10,000 a month. And we're saying from your referral income, we're saying take 25% of that minimum. If you want to scale up more, you can. Now you got a $2,500 monthly advertising budget to go with your $1,000 you're making from your viewing. You've got a $3,500 a month advertising budget. And so what happens is the more visits to your site, the more people hear the message, the more people convert to not only joining you, but joining you with an outright conviction, an outright commitment to view 10 hours, because they want to have their own marketing seed. They want to build their own large-scale enterprise. They want to get to 6 figures and potentially 7 figures and potentially 8 figures. This is a $650 billion industry, advertising. This is the first company that we have seen that's really taking advertising from big companies and allowing we marketers and allowing we average everyday folks to participate in this, ladies and gentlemen. This is the only company I've seen to do this, that's even attempting to do this. It would be very difficult for someone to come out and redo what they're trying to do. So my whole point is we may have an exclusive on this type of model for some time. And then if another company tries to duplicate what they're doing, it would be no different than you having a Facebook account and a Twitter account. So I wouldn't hate on somebody else trying to do it, because now you'd view with them too. You'd make money with them too. Ultimately, I want you to have multiple streams of income spanning multiple niches. If one stream ever dries up, it doesn't stop. It doesn't stop your income earning potential. A few years ago, I'm promoting a particular offer. We made more money in that offer than we'd ever made before. And the stream dried up. And that's when I decided at that point, I never again was only going to have one income stream. And I was never going to just teach my people just to have one income stream. That what we would do without cross-recruiting, what we would do without stealing people from another person's organization, that's unethical, it's unprofessional, and you will never win long term doing stuff that goes against universal laws and universal principles. By the way, let me say this real quickly. Somebody had the audacity to come on my YouTube channel and say, hey, you can register with me with another email address. No. If you registered with Sean, you are with Sean. You can follow me all day long. You can come to our webinars all day long. If you registered with Tony, you are with Tony. If you registered with Tyron, you are with Tyron. If you registered with Martha, you are with Martha. The reason we develop 5-7-figure businesses is because we understand the laws of the universe and we apply those laws to our business. We want to teach you those same laws so you apply them to your business so you have a long-term, sustainable business. How many of you, if you got value from what we just did, if you see something bigger than what you've seen with THW Global, it's not just one of them their thingies. If it's gold, if you got value, put a V in your questions box. I know this was a little bit more spirited than some of our other webinars, but guys, I've moved past the scam stage. I'm at the execution stage. Will you execute? But I'm beyond. I'm beyond. Thank you. Keep those V's coming. I'm beyond the scam stage. Okay, now this is what I want to do. If you are a guest and you have not yet registered with THW Global, you get back to the person that's responsible for you being on this webinar. Don't go sponsor shopping. Don't go sponsor hunting. You join with the person that got you on this webinar. I promise you, whether that person is a newbie, whether that person is in tune or not, I promise you that we are building with the large masses in mind. Even if you're not on a team, why would we do all of this? Well, one of the reasons is we want THW Global to amass the tens of millions of IVs, international viewers, so that we have thousands, tens of thousands of advertisers willing to spend money to get their content in front of us, so we're all making money. And so even though you may or may not be on my team, we're part of the same family. We're part of the same family. Okay, now let's do this. Get back to the person that referred you, join with them. This coming Thursday on the same webinar link. So if you register for our webinar to get here, then you're registered, all right? You don't have to do anything else. We're going to do a training webinar. Thursday night is our training night. I want to go over a couple of correspondences that came from corporate on yesterday and make sure that you guys understand my perspective on it and why I'm excited about what I saw on yesterday. Now, a lot of people were anticipating, expecting that viewing of content and ads were going to happen on yesterday. I want us to go over some, give me a moment. Bear with me. Oh, by the way, I tell you what. But before we do anything, give me just a moment here. There's something that I have to do. I've got to show, so if you're new, I need to show you something real quickly. Okay, so this is a getting started real quick for our new folks. All right, meaning you have not yet registered, or maybe you've registered and you haven't seen what I'm about to show you. All right, what you're going to do is you're going to get back to the person that referred you. They're going to send you their THW Global site. You'll see up here where it says presented by. So if your referrer is Sue Markley, assuming that she's got the business in her name, it'll say presented by Sue Markley as an example. It may be the business name or what have you, okay? You're going to click where it says register now. It's going to take you all of a minute to register. All right, that's number one. Number two, once you've registered, you're not going to get a confirmation email. What you're going to do is you're going to log in with the user details that you selected. You select a username, you select a password, okay? So we're going to log in. Let me want to make sure I don't have my login credentials showing. All right, so when you see this next, we would have logged in. Okay, all right, so now you're logged in. You want to do two things. Number one, go over here to where it says Message Center. You're going to click there. Now, if you're just getting started, you're not going to have a lot of messages, but you are going to have a welcome to THW message. A welcome to THW message. When you read that, it's going to have your THW referral links. You want to make a note of those links. I would save those links into a Word document, so you know those links, and you can immediately start to share your links with others so they can register with you. The other thing that you're going to want to do when you're back here is you're going to see where it says Survey Center. You're going to click where it says Survey Center and Demographic Survey. Now, I've already taken the survey, but this demographic survey, basically it's going to take you maybe no more than 10 minutes probably. What's your age range? What's your income range? And what's your education? It's the same type of things you're used to when you set up a Facebook account. See, Facebook asks you those questions to get demographic data so that they can know what type of ads to put in your news feed, what type of ads to put on your right-hand side with their algorithm, okay? You'll answer a series of questions of interest that you have. You know, if you're interested in cooking, if you're interested in fishing, if you're interested in sports, if what are your political views? Are you a conservative? Are you a liberal? So on and so forth. And the reason that's important is so they can match advertisers up with we international viewers. The whole idea, excuse me, I feel a cough coming on. Excuse me, ladies and gentlemen. The whole idea is we serve as a captive audience for these advertisers, for them to put their advertisements in front of us. We watch willingly and excitingly because we're going to make money. And we're going to use that as a seed to build out a 6 or 7 or maybe an 8-figure business. Okay? Meanwhile, one of the things that we want to do is we want to look at this as a partnership between ourselves, THW Global, and the advertisers. So when the advertiser has an advertisement about a product or service that you would want or need, then I want us, as a part of our culture, to say, well, I'm going to get that from our advertiser. Instead of me going down here where that person, I haven't seen any of their ads, I'm going to get it from somebody who's advertising with us. Why? Because if that advertiser starts to see a return on investment, a return on their advertising dollars, what are they more likely to do? Continue to advertise, maybe even bump up their advertisements. And as they bump up their advertisements, what does that mean for us? We make money. We make money. Okay. All right. So if you're new, you go to the person's site who referred you, you register. 1. 2, you come here to the message center. You look for that message from THW Global, that welcome message. It's got your referral links. 3, you take your demographic survey. It's only going to take you a few minutes to do so. Okay, now with that being said, I want to cover a couple of posts that came from the company. Give me a moment. Give me a moment. Bear with me. Okay, so here was a post, and you'll find this in your message center from yesterday, okay? Here was a post that talked about the, I'm now out of presentation mode. This is kind of like a little training here so you can understand our perspective on what we've seen. We have not started viewing just yet. And I know some people were saying, hey, where's the viewing? And, of course, you've got the negative people out there who say, see, I told you it was a scam. I told you it was a scam because you're not viewing yet. Ha, 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 ha. Well, look, let's understand the bigness of what they're doing. All right, so in 3 weeks, they were looking to capture 50,000 international viewers. They are now over 500,000. So they certainly exceeded those expectations. They talk about the fact that they look to have the target now in 2016 is have to go from 1 million IVs, international viewers, to 5 million. By the way, let me back up. You have to do that survey, okay? You've got to do that survey. Make sure your folks are doing that survey. So far, people simply registered for free. They're not going to be considered active until they do the survey. And the company needs to see at least 50,000 active folks that have done surveys in a market for them to be able to start doing the ads in that particular market, okay? So this is important that we not only continue to register folks, but we get them taking the survey so they now are an active person so that we can start seeing country by country by country starting to serve ads, okay? All right, now, give me a moment here. This talked about the demographic data. This one, all right, here we go. This one talked about that they reduced the age from 21 to 18. And why is this a big deal? Okay, we had previously been talking about, Queen, how, man, this is perfect for college students. And you can see I did just a little interweaving of some of the problems. We talked about the senior market with retirees, where we talked about families that are just struggling. We talked about the youth market with, let's say, college students. But the reality is a lot of college students that are 21 and older are ones that are like seniors. So there was a whole, millions of college students, 18, 19, 20, that under the old rules would not be able to be international viewers. Now under the new rules, 18. All right, so you could have a high schooler that's 18. You could have a college student that's 18. I believe that this is going to absolutely catch fire on college campuses around the globe. So just think, what college is in your area? What university is in your area? You get a couple of college students. All right, I already know somebody who they went to Kinko's or Staples and they printed up some flyers, and their whole thing was to get that out on college campuses. They hired somebody to see, that could be part of your marketing budget, by the way. Marketing is not just all online. That could be part of your marketing budget, where you hire a couple of kids to go out and distribute flyers on college campuses. You get a few of those college students making some money. It will spread like wildfire. All right, so somebody hit me today. They said, hey, I'm 76. I don't know that much about this whole internet thing. Okay, what I would say to my 76-year young person is find a kid that will go to a college campus on your behalf, pay them a few bucks, go to Kinko's, do some flyers, and recruit some 18, 19, 20-year-old techies that will mushroom this up on social media like you and I may not be able to do, because I'm not a social media dude. But the college kids are, okay? That's why that's so big, that it's 18. Your 18-year-old son, your 18-year-old daughter, get them registered. Let them earn some money. Let them become an entrepreneur. Get them on these webinars. Get them on our recordings. Let them. I had a meeting with my two. When I saw this yesterday, I had a meeting with my two sons. Actually, we had a family meeting last night, and we talked about this. My son, my youngest son is 18. This is what you're going to do, son. So he's got his position. He's done his demographic survey. As soon as he starts, as soon as the viewing starts, he knows he's spending 2 hours a day viewing. He knows that at least 50% of that is going towards marketing. He knows that at 18. So that in just a few short years, ladies and gentlemen, I expect my 18-year young son, assuming this is goal, to be a millionaire with this model. For my 20-year young son to be a millionaire with this model and beyond. Okay? All right. I love this. They said, remember, no IV will ever be forced to purchase any products or services in order to earn up to $25 per hour. That's huge. Remember, they're leveraging the same model, the free model. Okay? Give me a moment. THW Global must achieve its goal of registering and getting demographic profiles on millions of active IVs in order to attract thousands of advertisers. Okay, this is important. They mentioned last week that they have over 100 advertisers, some willing to spend as much as $1 million. But we want to do beyond that. We want to have thousands of advertisers. Give us just a moment. They talked about 2017. They want 1/650th of the global advertising pie. It's a $650 billion industry. That would be $1 billion. All right. They're paying. So if they generate $1 billion, some 400 to 500 million would be paid out to you and I, the international viewers. Okay. 1% is what they're targeting by 2020. That would be in excess, because by that time, by 2020, the global advertising pot would have grown to about $800 billion. Okay. All right. So I love the fact that this does not appear to me now to be one of their deals. Now, we still have to see them execute, all right? But it does not appear to me to be one of their deals. I love their longer-term approach. All right, now let's go one more. Give me a moment. Now this one also in your back office. All right, here they talk about the first demographic interest survey. The survey will be the first in a series of surveys designed to collect vital information about our international viewers in order to match their respective profiles with our advertisers and video stream providers. The surveys are an integral part of the THW Global identifying and prioritizing relevant demographics that will enable THW Global to maximize our initiatives and radically improve our marketing effectiveness. Now, let me tell you why this is so big in my book, okay? And yes, I would love it if we were viewing right now, but I love the fact that we're not viewing right now because we're not ready. We're not ready yet. We have 500,000 people across the globe that have registered, and that's impressive for just under 3 weeks. But that's not 500,000 folks that have filled out the surveys. We're not ready because we want to make sure that when it's time to view, we've got enough viewers that not only are viewing, but people that would be interested in what they are viewing, that they will take some action. We've got one shot, I'm assuming, with a lot of these advertisers for them to determine if they want to advertise again or not. So what I would rather happen, yes, I want viewing yesterday, but we're not ready for viewing yesterday. We have 500,000 folks all across the globe. They haven't all filled out their demographic surveys. I don't know when viewing is going to start. I don't know if it could be next week, if it's next month. I don't know. And yes, I want people viewing right now because I want you making money right now, and I want us to start employing our strategies right now. But what I'm more concerned about is making sure that when they turn the lights on, there are enough people viewing content and people that may actually buy some stuff from some of these advertisers, that these advertisers would continue to advertise. I mean, I don't know what the contracts are. I don't know if these advertisers have a contractual arrangement where they have to advertise for a certain period of time or what. I don't know. But I want to make sure, now this is me talking, I don't know what their whole game plan is. When I read this and I didn't see us being able to view yesterday, it didn't upset me. Instead, I said, they're doing it right. Do it right. Do it right. Because if you do it right, it will be gold. We will make so much money. We will have folks generating 8 figures. We'll have folks generating 7 and 6 and a whole bunch of people making a few $100s extra a week. I'm sorry, a few 100 extra a month for those who are not looking to really scale things up. So, I liked that they were asking age and gender and level of education and religion and social class and residence information. Why? So that they could have data to match us up with the right advertisers. So when I saw this, I loved it. So now, I don't know when viewing will start. If it starts next week, if it starts a month from now, I don't know. What I do know is if they perform, it'll be the biggest thing that any of us have ever done from a marketing perspective. And that I'm not willing to risk. I'm not willing to risk losing out on that. It's not costing me a dime. It gives me a chance to register even more people, get more people demographics. And if you follow us intimately, if it takes a month or 2 months, I don't know. I have no idea. No one has told me anything about how long it may take before we have the first market up and viewing. I have no idea. But let me tell you, if you will follow what we teach, because there's a bunch of folks out there just marketing wrong, just wrong. And if you learn how to market right, and you start learning that starting this coming Thursday with our trainings that we're doing on Thursday nights, and you start to understand about list building, you start to understand about communicating with your list. By the way, if you follow us really intimately, you'll be able to leverage our content that we send out to our email and our text list that brings value. Notice I never say my name. Have you noticed that? I've not said my name. All you know me as is the Funnel Doc. If you didn't know me before THW, you have no idea who I am. That was done on purpose, done by design, so that we could create content that you could leverage and share with your audience to bring value to your list. So the day comes when you've got a large email, SMS text list, you send out a message, whether it's THW or ABC or DEF, and because you've been bringing value to your audience, you have somebody responding back to you, and that person is a big leader. And they join you in whatever, THW or something else, they're a big leader, and they bring a team with them, just like we've seen happen with us. I want what's happening in my business to happen in your business. So if it takes a week, 2 weeks, a month, I don't know how long it's going to take before they turn that on. What I'm saying is don't be short-sighted. Come to these webinars, continue to register folks, get their demographic, get them to do their demographics, and have them to plug in to our webinars. So where you might, some of you are not lacking, but where some of you might be lacking and you don't know what to say, you don't know what to do, you don't know how to train, leverage us. And hopefully by now, those of you that have been in our list for even just a few days, hopefully you see we do it right. We don't send out personal referral links to that email list. We only send out valuable content to the list, regardless of whose team you are on. So make sure your folks are also registered at www.THWGlobalWebinar.com. Okay, make sure your folks are registered there. They'll be getting our content. They'll be getting our webinar announcements. They'll get the recordings of the webinars that we're currently sending out to that list. They'll get those. They'll get we basically send out, maybe with the exception of the weekend, we basically send out an email to that list every single day. And with updates or some type of training nugget or what have you. And what I'm hoping that you are getting is how you communicate with your list. It's not just a pitch fest. It's not just a join me, or buy from me. It's providing value. It's providing value. And those of you that make videos, or you have no problem doing a video with your mug in front of the camera or doing screenshot videos like I do, you feel free to take any of the content that I send out, and if you want to take that content and put it in your own words so it comes from you, by all means do it. There's not one thing I ever say that I just came up with on my own. I've studied, and I simply repeat what I've studied and what I know works. So feel free to leverage that content. All right, with that being said, I've got 15 minutes.